This is Rici inside the Who-Bangin Sports Talk Lab, researching your betting angle of the day. Let's get started. How we doing, everybody? Rici here, welcoming you into the Bangin Lab, where I'm stuck in this box trying to get another video out. They said they'll let me out for some fresh air, so let's get right to it. Week 7 NFL. I got a few angles on every game. You know, some hopefully will be helpful. I did do a video on post bye weeks that you should check out because some of the teams this week are in a play with those systems that I pointed out. Falcons being one, Saints being one, Jets being one, 49ers being one. That 49ers one is interesting. It's a quick 7-minute video if you get a chance. It's out, Who-Bangin Sports Talk. You know, the old like and subscribe. We appreciate it. My Twitter is @Dom541. You could also go on DJ Bigboss's Twitter. We're also, he's also on IG and TikTok and getting me on there. We think the millennials need a little love too, so why not, right? So glad to be back with the Who-Bangin family. Wham, DJ Bigboss, our boy Marlon. So it should be fun. And hopefully soon also we'll get another Boss in the Sauce show, which has been the from the beginning the staple of Who-Bangin Sports Talk with our friend Big Ragoo and of course Big Boss. Okay, let's get started. Early games on Sunday. I got the lines from Odds Trader, so that's ones I looked up early this morning, and we'll see how things have changed. Some lines have already changed actually, but this is Friday. This is October 22nd. Okay, Bengals at Ravens. The Bengals, you might be surprised at this. The Bengals are 5-2 against the spread when they play in Baltimore in their last 7 games. That look-ahead line for the Ravens was minus 11.5. I see a line now of minus 6.5 with a total of 46. So keep that in mind with the Bengals. Next one I'm going to talk about is the Jets and the Pats. The look-ahead line on that was 6.5, and the line right now is 7. I see a 7.5 also, but for this show, I'll say the Pats right now minus 7 with a total of 43. The home team in this series, excuse me, the Pats, when they play the Jets at home, are 4-1 against the spread the last 5. So the Jets have not fared well in New England. There is a post-buy stat with the Jets. Also, that it's on my post-buy video. The Jets have not fared well in their post-buy weeks. I don't have the numbers right in front of me right now so I'll force you to go watch that other video. It's only a 7-minute one. What I did find out surprisingly today, right before I came on, was a 93% handle is on this Pat game going towards the Pats. But the line the line actually now is 6.5, and I did see a 7. So, you know, that line is actually dropping with most of the money going on the Pats. Not sure why, but keep that in mind. We know how Belichick is with these rookie quarterbacks. For me, that's a stay away game, but hopefully those little nuggets help you guys out. Another one we have is the Chiefs at Titans. Man, if Derrick Henry could run like that against the Bills again, I mean, the Chiefs, I would think defense is not comparable to the Bills. So, but can Henry do that back and back? That was a hard grind. He played fantastic, but again, doing it back to back is a tough thing. But if anyone can do it, it's Derrick Henry. Chiefs better be on their toes. Do I have a look? Yes, I had a look ahead line for this game. It was the Chiefs minus 4.5. There is a 5.5 right now on the Titans, which you would think the line would go the other way, but people still believe in the Chiefs. Titans at home, to me that 5.5 is interesting. The total is 57. The over in this series, head to head, last 10 times these two teams have played is 7-3. So for what that's worth, I could see some scoring in that game. We'll see what happens. Next one is Panthers at Giants. Oh man, that you always have a team that you think is going to be your sneaky little team, and for me that was the Panthers. And I'm quickly fading away from that theory. This week, if they don't blow out the Giants, I'll be totally off them. If they just win this game by a few points or lose, if they lose, I'll just be totally off them and have them pushed out to the sideline. If they win by maybe 3 points or so, I'll still be skeptical. If they could blow out these Giants like they should, 10 to 14 points, then I would think maybe the Panthers are back on schedule. We've seen them 3-0 start, blow up, like we've seen the Broncos 3-0 start, blow up, which continued last night. Okay, so the dog in this series, Panthers at Giants, is 4-1 against the spread. I have to see a 2.5-point line right now with a total of 43. The Giants, Joe Judge has not been a great addition to this Giant squad, as we know. I believe he's 7-15 since he started. So that's something we got to keep our eye on also. The Giants are in a bad shape. Daniel Jones is quickly losing his starting job if he puts a performance on like he did last week. I believe the Panthers bounce back. I've been saying it for 3 weeks. See what happens. When you're wrong, you're wrong, right? Okay, the next game I got for you is the Washington football team at Green Bay. Another little weird game as far as betting. What I got for you for the stat on that game was the Washington football team is 3-0 against the spread the last 3 times these two teams played head-to-head. The Packers, 13-1-1 against the spread after playing the Bears their last 15 times, which they played the Bears last week. Those kind of stats, I'm not sure what we could do with those, how we could quantify them, but is it coincidence? I don't know, but it's a division game. We know they play the Bears, they beat the Bears a lot, and they seem to continue on the next week. 13-1-1 against the spread, not too shabby, right? 7.5-point line with Green Bay with a 48 total, but that line has been that line was 8 and went down to 7.5. There's an 83% handle on the Packers that I've seen coming before I started doing the video, and still the line dropped a little bit. Not sure why. Again, like I talked about with the other game, but I can't see Washington football team. I've been pretty good with betting on and against this team this year. I was big on their not buying into their defensive prowess, and so far I've been right about that. I could see, though, this Green Bay, they're playing the Bengals, is it, on next Thursday? So I could see maybe a first half Green Bay line is like -5. I think that probably is the play. I could see Green Bay starting to hold back a little bit in the second half if they could go up by maybe 2 touchdowns or 17 points, something like that, to limit some reps, because that's a big game for them on Thursday night. I could see that happening. We'll see. I think Green Bay's a good teaser team this week and a good survivor pick if you are still in the survivor pool, that myself am not. Okay, the next game I got for you, Falcons at Miami. Why did Miami take that bye? They had a choice coming out of London, a bad team going into the game, a bad team coming out of the game. Now they face the Falcons, who notoriously are a team that I've been staying away from a lot over the last 2 years, because they have got me, all those big playoff games, all those end of the year blow-ups. I was a Falcon backer, and it has hurt me over the years. But I'm back with them again this week. I did take them earlier, and it's still a 2.5. A 2.5. I did take them at 3, but it's a 2.5-point game now. Falcons. Okay, that was I had that mixed up with another game. The look-ahead line on this game is -3. The favorite in this series head-to-head is 4-1-1 the last 6. We have a 47.5 total on this game. The Falcons went from dog to favorite. That's where I made my mistake. The Falcons went from dog to favorite. I did jump on the Falcons earlier in the week, and I took them again -2.5. So I think I have them +2.5 and -2.5. I got to check that, but I do have 2 wagers on the Falcons. Let's see if they do what they. If they lose this one, I can tell you you'll never hear the word Falcon out of my mouth ever again. The next one we have, Lions at Rams. Up to here, everybody thought the Giants were going to give the Rams a little bit of a little bit of a game last week. Some thought that it was going to be a Ram. Just go in, go up by a little bit, make it like the old workman-like type of game. Just, win a little, take it out quick, and go back home, go back across country. That wasn't the case. The Rams, who actually saved me, I had a terrible week handicapping last week. Even though I was +2 units on Sunday, I still had a terrible capping week. The only reason why I am +2 is because what I call an irresponsible bet, but I did it. We all do it every once in a while. When the Giants went up 3-0 in the first, I put 5 units on the Rams at -5.5. Why I say, even though it won, why I say it's irresponsible, because to make a 5-unit live play, to me, and the way I am, and the way I like to think I'm disciplined, and the way I do that maybe 4 or 5 times total across all sports per year, that I'd put in a big bet like that, I just felt it was irresponsible, and I felt like I got lucky. Sometimes you can't be always just happy with your results. I was not happy with my results, even though I squeaked out a profit last week. So still had the worst Sunday capping-wise last week. So that's how it goes. So far for this year, teetering around +3 or 4 units. I had a bad week the week before. Week 5 wasn't great, and week 6 wasn't great. So there you go. Transparency is key, right? That's what we always preach. Part of the low bag crew, as part of our, our theories and the way we do things. Transparency is big. And if you watch Jimmy the Bag, Betting with the Bag show every day, you'll see what I mean by transparency. If you watch Ian, Cameron, and Connor, both these guys, all 3 of these guys from Pub Sports, you will see transparency. Razor Sharp, transparency. All these guys, these are good handicappers. And like myself, we're not afraid to say when we lose. We're not afraid to say when we stink. I post an 0-5 as quick as I'll post a 5-1 or 4-1 or whatever. So let's just, let me not go on a tangent about that, about transparency. Lions and Rams, -10.5 was the look ahead on the Rams. Now we see a Rams at -14.5 with a total of 50.5. The Lions are 6-19-2. The last 27 times they travel 1,500 miles or more. So I'm guessing Detroit to LA is probably about that. I'm in New York. I know it's 3,000 to LA. So, but what that stat does show you is that the Lions are not good when they have to travel far, and that proves it. What else do we have? The Rams are 5-1-1 against the spread versus Detroit. So, which we kind of know Detroit hasn't been good for a lot of years. So what else do we have? We have the Eagles at Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders really rallied around themselves last week in Denver. I guess we're seeing a Denver team that's not that great anyhow. But for the Raiders to rally in that game last week, that was impressive, I thought, especially after all that stuff was happening. I give Derek Carr a lot of props for that. I believe that he took that team on his shoulder and, in that locker room and really made a difference last week. I firmly believe that. So let's see what we got here. The look-ahead line was the Vegas Raiders, -3 ahead. How many times does everybody still want to say Oakland? And the line we have is 2.5 with Vegas -2.5 with a 48.5 total. The Raiders in this series, ATS, last 6, 5-1. Next, we got the Bears at Tampa. It's amazing how Tampa is 2-12-1 ATS at home in October. I don't know. Again, these stats sometimes, are they coincidence or what makes them that way? I can't figure that one out. I can't now we know Tampa wasn't great, for a lot of years, but still 2-12-1 ATS at home in October. Wow. The home team in this series has covered the last 4 head-to-head. The Bears are the under in the Bears when they are when the Bears are a +10 or more underdog, the under is 13-2. When the Bears play as an underdog +10, not against Tampa, against anyone, the Bears play +10, the under is 13-2. like I said about Tampa 2-12-1, I just can't get over that. This line is still 12. It went down from 12.5. Tough one. I was leaning towards the Bears, which is another thing I rarely say. I rarely even bet Bears games. I try to keep to like 6 or 7 teams that I really concentrate and really bet on. I like to do that. Like to do that in a few sports. The Bears is one of those teams I rarely play on, but I did like them in this spot. But yesterday, Allen Robinson was questionable. He's going to be a big key. So we'll see what happens with that. But still, that line isn't really moving. So actually, if anything, it went down a half a point. Next, we got the Texans at the Cardinals. The look-ahead line was the Cards minus 9.5. We have the Cards minus 17 with a 47.5 total. The Texans ATS in this series last 4 games 3-1 all time. So they only played the Cardinals 4 times, and they're 3-1 against the spread. A lot of times we'll see these games. Teams that don't play, teams like non-conference and stuff like that. They don't see them more than every couple of years. So. Saints and Seahawks. I'll tell you, this is a sneaky game. The Saints. I posted a video about pre-bye weeks, and the Saints were one of those teams that do very well. And they again come out of the bye, and they still hold some. Some positive trends coming out of the bye. But the look-ahead line for this was the Seahawks minus 1.5. We have the Saints minus 4.5 with a total of 43 now. The Saints are getting 8 players back. They're getting a couple of good players back. If you look at the list of who they're getting back, and who practiced this week, we'll see if they all come in. But from starting tackles to great defensive guys, Alexander, there's a bunch of them. So take a look at that list. The Saints getting a lot of people back. For some reason, I was leaning the Seahawks at the beginning of the week, and I did throw. I have a parlay with them with the Browns last night in the money line. Yesterday was a whole combobulated game. I had the Broncos in a 3-team parlay at plus 3.5, which I got lucky and hit. But because the line didn't switch much, I took the Browns even with the injuries, and got lucky to hit them at a minus 130. But I also threw them in a parlay with the Seahawks. And now I'm regretting that play. I'm probably going to throw something in on the Saints because I believe that I might have made a mistake there. Anyhow, the Saints are 3-0 against the spread. And on all of those, against the Seahawks, every time they were 3-0 against the spread, they were the dog. They are not this time. The Seahawks 10-23 against the spread at home in October since 2000. That kind of goes along with that Tampa stat. Why? Why is the Seahawks in October 10-23 against the spread? Is it travel? Is it, Seahawks have been traveling a lot this season so far, back and forth. We'll see what happens. What I do have for you, and so those are all the games for the week. The post-bye week video that I did do, and I mentioned before. Let me just give you one of those stats from then, and then you can check out the rest. With post-bye week teams since 1999 are the road favorites post-bye week since 1999 against the spread, 66% covering. The Atlanta Falcons and the Saints both fit that trend. Some teams play their bye weeks differently. From the reports that I've heard, the Atlanta Falcons and Matt Ryan has always treated the bye week for some extra work, for getting together with some receivers, for doing a little bit of extra work, and it seems like it shows because the Falcons do pretty well coming out of the bye, besides that stat that I gave you. So that's basically what I got for you guys. Let me just give you quickly on that with the Falcons. They're 6-1 straight up. The last 7 post-bye on the road. Their one loss last year was on the Saints. There is also a non-conference Atlanta Okay, ATS versus the division. 35. Okay, post by. Sorry, guys. Post by road favorites are hitting at a 73%, 21, 11, and 1 ATS. That's road favorites, non-conference teams hitting 73%. Against divisions, road favorites against divisions, 35 and 15, 68% since 2008. So those all hit on the Falcons. But if you, like I said, if you watch that video, you'll see what I'm talking about. So anyhow, so I get myself out of this box and I stop rambling. Let me get out of here. Like I said, like and subscribe if you can. We love doing these videos, and I'm going to keep on doing as many as I can. And hopefully we will see you guys before Sunday. Make sure you watch DJ Big Boss, Ian Cameron, Big Ragoo, Connor Mack on their Pub Sport NCAA football show tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. on Pub Sports Radio. So check that out too, guys. Okay, Tommy Gunn here. Remember, the family that caps together stays together. And let's cash those tickets.